It was early 2011 that I was kind of thinking of life beyond competitive cycling, and that's when I first came up with the idea that I'd like to start my own bike range. And it's, you know, one of these things that at first you think, it seems pretty simple, it shouldn't be too much of a difficult thing to do, you know, just design a bike and you produce it. And then the more I kind of got involved, the more I realised that there was a long process, and that if you want to do it right, you know, it's not something you can do quickly. But it's been a fantastic experience so far, and to partner up with Evan Cycles has been great too. You know, just so many like-minded people that are really passionate about their cycling as well, and just it's been a great experience. So, you know, hopefully it'll continue that way, and it'll go on for many years. There was a risk that I could have designed a bike which was very much just for me, and very much, you know, an aggressive, sharp, racing focused bike. And yes, there is a market for that, you know, but we're trying to appeal to a wide range of people who are new to the sport, and it's about making cycling fun and enjoyable. And really, you know, in a way, it's a bit like me now. As a retired track cyclist, I'm going to be doing sportives and riding my bike for fun, and I don't necessarily want a bike to be, you know, razor sharp and potentially uncomfortable, you know, on long rides. It's not about riding for a few seconds, it's about riding for potentially a number of hours. So for me, it's got to be a strong bike. It's got to be stiff enough that when I get out the saddle and I give it some stick, it's not going to flex all over the place. But at the same time, it's got to be light. You've got to get up the hills in it. It's got to ride well. It's got to handle well. It's just got to feel right. And it's, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, to get all these things in one bike. But, you know, we've worked very closely with James Olson, who's a very knowledgeable gentleman, and he's been fantastic. And he knows the technical stuff. I can explain to him how a bike feels. I can ride the bike and say, do you know what, it needs more of this or less of this, or I need to tweak it this way. And he knows what that means in terms of the numbers. He just goes in there, makes a few calculations, gets the prototype back out to me, I get on it, and you know, it's you know, pretty much bang on without too much tinkering here and there. Well, I've been involved at every single level of the development and the kind of the decision making. You know, I've been so keen not to just say, look, here's my name, stick it on a bike, and let's get them in the shops, and, you know, don't care. You know, it's all about, for me, it's all about making sure that I'm proud of what is being in these shops. I'm not just, you know, sticking my name to it. So for that reason, you have to be involved at every single stage of development. So for example, out in Taiwan, we were out, you know, at the factory, meeting the people, seeing the production, and we were out riding on the bikes, and there was one descent, it was about a 5k descent, and, you know, after a few corners, high-speed corners, you could feel that the brake pads weren't really operating as you'd expect. I mean, it was the kind of, you know, lower-end group set, but still, you know, you want these brake pads to work properly. So just based on that one ride, we've changed the brake pads on the bottom-end bike, and it's, you know, today out on the bike just now, and it feels completely different, much more positive, you know, reassured braking. Even when they heat up, you know, there's no issues there. It's been quite a long process. I think I've had a number of different bikes in different forms and different options, and sometimes you get bikes sent to you which will have 2 or 3 different things on it. So, you know, they'll have different welds at the bottom bracket to the head tube, so we can look at how they look to compare on one bike to see, you know, the finish, or, you know, do we really need to fill in the welds to make it look really cool, but it adds a bit of weight, you know, and it makes it something that it's not necessarily, you know, trying to be something it's not. It's an aluminium frame. We're not trying to hide it and make it look like a carbon frame. So try and be honest about the bike, and just, yeah, we've had lots of different variations, and for me personally, I've got quite a long, low position on the bike. So initially the head tube was quite high, so we've shortened that down a little bit. So a number of different things, you know, even the tube thickness and angles, and just the spec of the bike as well. It's been a lot of fun just mucking about on bikes. Initially, we just pitched the whole range at the leisure market, at the people who are new to the sport, making it, you know, affordable, so you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of pounds on a bike, because you can still get a great bike at a relatively affordable price. But that doesn't mean to say we're going to stick purely at this range of the market. We are going to expand, and potentially, you know, a higher end carbon bike. That would be nice, a sort of flagship model. Obviously, with my background being in track cycling, you know, a track bike wouldn't be out of the question too. But maybe not necessarily the way you would think. It could be quite, I wouldn't want to say too much, but yeah, it's a really exciting sort of potentially limited run there. And because I've raced BMX, I've raced mountain biking, I've raced road, time trial, cyclocross, you know, everything in cycling terms, you know, I've got not a huge amount of experience in these areas, but I've experienced what it's like to be new to the sport, to actually what works, what doesn't work on a bike. So, you know, it's nice for me now to get back to my roots, if you like, and actually go out mountain biking, getting out and, you know, doing all the stuff I used to do when I was a kid, and it's just, yeah, it's a great excuse to do that.